Thank you. Okay. Um, it's funny, I was looking at some of these pictures and I can still remember, incidents with each one of them. Um, One person just got engaged over the weekend. Another person, his birthday is today. It's just so cool because you really do, I do, really develop a relationship uh, in a week's time, something that, even if you don't see them for many years, it's still something that I treasure. So this is the large, huge square of Santiago, Atitlan. And this church is from about 1550. Now it has suffered earthquakes and all sorts of things, so it's been rebuilt and rebuilt and rebuilt. But when you go into it, you feel like it's a real, early Spanish church in Central America. And it was a meeting place, and so guerrillas, the local people who were protesting against the government, would assemble in this big square and criticize the president. And remember, the president was a stooge put in place by our government, our CIA. Some things never change. And the bishops were um, standing up for the people. And so it was a very tense and dangerous time. Yeah, so we'll see this inside the church if we go there. Yeah, 1547, 1580. It was completed in 1582, so real old. It's a big church, bigger than San Lucas, and we'll be there. Ash Wednesday is next week. So it'll be decorated for Ash Wednesday with all these, colorful drapes. Um, and what's fascinating are these statues of saints all around. And as the seasons change, they have different costumes and robes that they put on them. So I was there once at Christmas time, so they had their Christmas clothes on. Here they have their spring Lent clothes on. And it's just, I find it very moving to go into a place like this because the people of Santiago um, took sanctuary. We talk about sanctuary cities. This was their sanctuary. And so, it's kind of an old medieval rule that if you go inside a sanctuary, the government can't come in and do anything to you. So that's where we get the term sanctuary cities. And um, the church in Wayne, the Episcopal Church in Wayne is a sanctuary church. And so during the El Salvador Wars, people would come up from El Salvador and actually live in the church so that ICE couldn't come in and get them. ICE respected sanctuaries at that time. So 500 people took sanctuary in the church. Um, it's if any of you have gone to Spain and you see the medieval carvings, which are very realistic, like ultra realistic, um, and really a lot of blood. Like they really make Jesus bleed a lot, and the saints bleed a lot. So they don't spare any detail of torture. And so it's kind of interesting to see the culture of the Spanish and then imported to the New World. And it's the way the church would teach people because the people did not were illiterate. So these very graphic statues were a way of kind of teaching the people the story of the gospel. So Father Stan reported the murders back to the States, and he tried to continue to work. The campesinos, the farmers, fled into the mountains for their safety. Father Stan is taking precautions, but he knows he's like number 8 on the death list that the government wants to kill. So his people, like his catechists, people who taught religious education in the church, were getting picked off by the government, and he got a visa to get a Mayan priest out of the country. People were sleeping in the church. And then at one point, his right-hand person who taught religious education, catechism, was abducted. And there was a massacre in January. And Father Stan went back to Oklahoma And this is a really interesting part of the story. So he went back to Oklahoma for his own protection, and he would give talks, and he didn't mince any words. In one talk, the story goes, he explained how our government was behind many of these killings and how our government was supporting the repression of the Guatemalan government of the poor people. And there was somebody in the back who then got word to Washington, D.C., to the CIA. And then the CIA got in touch with the Guatemalan embassy, and they kept an eye out for Father Stan. If he ever was to return, they were gonna pick him off. So at a certain point, he said, I'm safe here in the States, but my people are suffering, and so I am their shepherd, and I cannot stay up here. I have to go back to my people, even though I know that there's a price on my head. So he did. And on July 28th, 1981, 1:30 in the morning, he was supposed to be sleeping up here, but he was hurt. He heard that there were assassins in the town, so he snuck down and went across this courtyard that hopefully we'll see. And he went into his office, and he was hiding in his office. So that's 1:30. And then the assassins came into his office, which is where we go, and he put up a fight. So there were bruises on his fists. So he was defending himself, but they pinned him against this wall over here, this corner, and they shot a number of bullets into him. And you'll be able to see like the blood stains on the floor and on the wall. They're still preserved there. And so we usually go in here and do some reflection, sign the guest book, and look at all the people from all around the world who have come, and pray to Father Stan, whose death portrait is up here on the altar. And he's a great man, and very moving. And it just because he's North American, there were many, many people from Guatemala who were killed, but I guess we relate to him because he is like one of us. I skipped over a funny story that I always tell because it's encouraging to students. He went in a seminary in Oklahoma, and he could not learn Latin. And in those days, Mass was often in Latin. And so that was kind of an impediment. So the rector of the college, of the seminary, said, "No, you're never going to make it." So he left. And I think he went to another seminary, and he couldn't learn language then. And finally, he ended up in Emmitsburg, Maryland, St. Mary's Seminary. And he got through by the skin of his teeth. And he just had a block about learning Latin. He was not good with languages. When he came down, he learned the native language, and he not only learned it, he translated the Bible, the New Testament, from English into Tututzwil. And so that was the first time there was a native Mayan language Bible that people who read and spoke Tututzwil could read and learn from. So this guy who could not learn Latin for the life of him got flunked out of seminary, ends up, can you imagine learning Tututzwil and then translating the New Testament into Tututzwil? So, I mean, it just so inspiring. I just am amazed that he could do that. So I'm going to skip over this. And then, just to ask ourselves the question, what motivated them? I think part of it is the shepherd who didn't run, the title of the book. If any of you had a chance to watch the movie, do you have any thoughts on it? Or, if you didn't have a chance, that's okay also, if you can get to it sometime.
I have a question. Did
Yeah.
he set up like radio broadcast system?
Yes. Yeah, and
That
I'm
is
trying to
awesome.
remember if Faith, do we see the radio tower? I think it's outside the perimeter of the church. Do you remember that?
I don't,
I could be imagining it.
yeah, I don't think,
I know that a number of Latin American countries, like when I went to El Salvador, I actually broadcast on one of those radio stations, and it was a good way during the wars to get the word out to people. So I don't know if it was shortwave or if it was FM. I don't know what the frequency was, but a lot of these mountainous areas, because the people were often illiterate, and this would be the way to get the word out to the people who are under attack. So let's look and see if we can see a radio tower. Anybody else have any thoughts or?
So would you say that I was just trying to compare the two, Father Greg and Father Stan? It seems like Father Stan did a lot.
Mhm,
Like he was the bulwark behind everything
mhm.
that was created. Now, what was Father Greg doing? Kind of the same thing, or
Um, First of all, I don't know. My guess is that Santiago is a much bigger town
mm,
and much more central. It'd be like the difference between, I don't know, Harrisburg and Podunk. So San Lucas is a tiny town in comparison with Santiago. So that could be one. Two, Father Greg was he can really relate to people. No, he's one of those people that he will have friends in all different walks of life, all different political, persuasions, and he finds a way to get through to everybody. He did have some people killed, but not on the same scale as Father Stan did. So I don't know if it was just the circumstances of the town that Father Greg was in a smaller town and also was pretty, good at smoothing over differences. Or if, and Santiago might have just been, I wish I knew the answer, but I don't. Good question, Bunny.
really, really amazing men. Like I'm just dumbfounded at what Father Stan did. I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like everything at such a young age, at 20 years old, going there and he must have lost self-confidence because of his not being able to learn Latin and just using the skills that he had as a farmer
Hmm.
was really, really cool.
Yeah.
And definitely like that was his purpose. That was his assignment. And man, did he live to the fullest in that assignment.
Yeah. Yeah.
He better be canonized. He's unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Um, okay, let's just go through another set of slides and then Ange will take over. I want to go to Safari. So a little bit on health. Let's see if I can make this full screen. Could not get it to. Now, how do I? I can't figure. Last week I was successful, and this week I am not successful. Doing a slideshow. Zoom, share, health. So I'm going to zip through this fairly quickly. Full screen, because we've covered some of this stuff already. Um, I know some people who are not on the call don't have travel insurance. Um, I rarely buy travel insurance, but the last couple of years I've been buying it more. I wonder why. Um, and I got it for like $30 to $50. So uh, most likely you're never going to need it. Water. Again, can't stress this enough. Don't brush your teeth with the water. Um, if you're experiencing severe diarrhea, stomach cramps, or vomiting, do not take any anti-diarrheal medication until you speak to the mission and get a stool sample test. Okay, so don't self-treat and plan on bringing a reusable water bottle with you. Okay. Um, Dengue, Faith talked about that last week, and I agree. I agree, but I didn't want to say it. I never bring bug spray. I've never, I personally never see mosquitoes. I think they don't like my blood, but other people like Alex insist that there's mosquitoes, but I've never seen one. I guess it wouldn't hurt to bring, a little bug container if you want to. Um, If you go out after we have our reflection, go in groups of two, don't leave personal belongings, unattended, like Faith leaving her wallet on the curb. Um, Alcoholism is a problem. And so, they can not, I've never seen anybody become, Faith, correct me, I've never seen anybody be violent, but they can be annoying. Um,
Correct. Barachos. Drunks.
and drugs also, yeah.
No, drunks. Oh my gosh.
Drugs, yes, drugs,
Drugs? I haven't seen drugs. Calm down.
yeah. I had a really fun-loving group once who would go out after they tucked Grandpa Zurich in bed and go out and
Wait, what
stay
year was this?
2015. And they did get lured into a private home where the woman was trying to give them drugs. Okay, do not pet the dogs. They are not pets. Okay, these are useful dogs to keep things away. They are not. Nobody in San Lucas sleeps in bed with their dog. They do not kiss their dog on their lips. Okay, so do not get the idea that you're going to bring a dog home like last year. Oh my God, was it a dog or a cat that you
It
guys
was
were
a
trying to?
cat, okay? Not a dog.
Oh God, Americans.
Don't pet the street dogs, is what you meant to say.
Yes.
If it's somebody's pet, it's a little different.
Oh God. You see what I'm up against?
If it's a cute puppy that little kids are holding, you might be okay.
Okay, if you want to get your rabies shots, not my problem. Okay. Um, we're not going to do much construction work. I think we'll have 2 mornings of construction, and even there, I have an alternative of doing weeding in the Women's Center. So they understand that Grandpa Zurich is not up to mixing cement so much anymore. So they're going to be kind to me. But if you're like Sharon, make sure that you bring some gloves to avoid splinters and blisters. Okay. Just interrupt me if there's any question. The first aid kits are handy when we go out, and our person who accompanies us will have a first aid kit. None of us is going to tell the Guatemalan men how to do their job. Um, and next class, we're going to talk about cultural humility. And I was talking with Isa, and they would really like the groups to take fewer pictures. And they liked my idea of having like a designated camera person so that a number of people aren't taking pictures of the work sites. Just one person might be doing it. And we can, trade our pictures. It gets kind of, to me, beyond. And Isa was so glad, she's really trying to say, you wouldn't want people taking pictures of you. So don't you always be taking pictures of other people. And Ange can tell us more about that. I mean, she was part of the mission and took many pictures, but always with permission. Yeah, so taking photos and very important to ask permission. Um, Again, be respectful. Don't be, posting pictures of, children on social media. Uh, I think many of us are very careful about taking pictures and posting them of our own little nephews and nieces and grandchildren now, especially with, the apps now that can disrobe women and disrobe children and get sold on the internet. So they have social media guidelines to be respectful and not post unless people say it's okay. Uh, Really, no donations. Give donations to the mission, not to any people in particular. No tipping. Everyone gets paid who works for the mission gets paid a good salary.
Can I add one thing to that?
Yep.
Okay, so me and Faith are doing a side quest while we're in Guatemala, and one of the possible donations would be to buy a book when we go on our trip and donate it to the school. So that could be if you wanted to do something, you could pay $2 or whatever it is and buy a book for the kids.
So that would be to the school. They would buy the
We go
books.
to the Montessori school.
Okay. Yeah.
I have a question. Where will we buy the book?
We're working on that.
Okay.
We're gonna get a local bookstore. We have a meeting Friday, so we will give you more information on that.
Jerry, I have a question about that. Last year, I think it was the second construction site we were on.
Mhm.
Someone had mentioned that the family that we were helping were behind on their water bill or something. Didn't somebody donate money to
Yeah.
pay the water bill?
Yeah. I think for a good long time.
Okay, so is that considered a donation?
Um, Yeah, so I'm torn there because, what I'm reading is that we don't want to set up a dependency. So people say, oh, here are the rich Americans. Let's tell a lie and say we need something and get money out of the rich Americans. Or even if it's true, they're trying not to have a society of, dependence and things like that.
Okay.
I didn't get involved. It did not have it. It had happened before I even heard.
Okay.
Usually, we would tell the mission, and that would be a reason for the charity aspect of the mission to be alerted to. So that's what the picture is you see on your screen of the white North American giving a package to a poor person, and
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to do that. So this charity program, it was embarrassing last year to me and to a number of us because the man who took us around would go to a house and talk about how the husband was a drunk and beat his wife. So all of these private things were being exposed in front of us and in front of the people. And the mission had a meeting, and I think they're going to do it differently. We're going to hear the backstory by ourselves, and then we're going to come and visit and give gifts to the people. So it's a little bit better. Tipping, no tipping, no swearing. I find the Maya people are very reserved. Faith, chime in. I find them very reserved and very respectful and modest and quiet. And Americans are very loud, very boisterous, speak at, like very shouting tones, and we're always dropping the F-bomb. What's your experience, Faith? You've been there longer.
Definitely the volume. We talk a lot louder. Like,
Mhm.
I think we don't realize how loud we are, especially when we're walking down the streets. Like they kind of whisper when they speak to each other on the street, like not intentionally, they just talk very softly.
Mhm.
So definitely I would say like when we're in a public place, if we could not like if we could be mindful of like our volume level, I think that'd help.
Mhm.
But normally you're not allowed to curse at the mission. When we get to the hotel, knock yourself out. But normally, I every time I've gone with a group, no one's cursed like in an inappropriate moment. That's yet to happen.
Right.
Normally people like abide by that rule. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you want to fight with your daughters, Connie and Bonnie, you can do it just in the hotel. Please.
Yeah. Okay.
We've never fought.
Oh,
And just perfect.
Then we will have a problem.
okay. I'm going to turn this over to Ange. And
Okay.
Ange had the remarkable experience of documenting, I think when you were still a student.
Yeah, these pictures are gonna be old. The website is old. I will say I have grown as a photographer since this, but yes, it was in 2019. I went down for the first time and took a few pictures, and then the next year was invited back to do this project.
And
Did you
so,
want me to pull up the website? Is that what's happening?
yeah, you can share.
Sorry, give me a second.
Yep. I'll talk while you're doing that. Yeah, so the mission asked Ange if she would go around with people and visit these little towns that get no recognition. And so Ange and I guess Julie and
Yes.
other people like interviewed and got the story of the town leaders and what was special about each town. And then Ange took some, she's underselling her pictures, but really exceptional pictures of all these different towns.
Okay. Let's see. How do I share my screen?
So down at the bottom, there should be a green box that says share.
Perfect. Okay.
There.
I just need to move this. Make this bigger.
So all of you can go and look at this again at Communities of San Lucas Toliman.
Is it full screen?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay, so this is the map down here, and these are all the communities that I went to and photographed and documented. So the main one is San Lucas right here, which is where we're going to be. And the lake is right here. So we're right on the lake. And then all these little stars are little communities that will probably pass on our way if we go this way. I believe we usually do. Or we might be helping when we do construction in one of these communities. So I can go to like San Lucas's. So when you click on each of the towns, you'll see pictures
Just go
from,
slower. The
oh,
picture
sorry.
of Weecha is exceptional.
So you'll meet her at the Women's Center. She's awesome. She usually is the one that teaches us how to make the tortillas. We'll also visit the coffee, and this is some of the coffee pictures. This is what like kind of when you're walking through the streets when they have their markets. This is like kind of what it looks like. People will be out selling their fruits and vegetables and have like little pop-up stands. And these are kind of the dogs that he's talking about, like that they're street dogs and don't touch those ones. I don't know if you can tell, but so as you were saying, we're very much taller than the people here. So they are a lot shorter than us. And I think you can kind of tell here, but you're going to see that you're going to tower over a lot of the people. And then this is the church. I think that's.
Yeah, the mausoleum where Father Greg is buried.
Yeah, thank you. Some of the children, which is what I usually take pictures of. Remind me his name.
Toribio.
Toribio runs the environmental program, and sometimes we go there. I don't know, are we going? I'm not sure.
I don't think so this year. Just to
Okay.
Yep.
He's a cool guy. He's done a lot for the environment. He told like kids that they basically like collected little plastic bags that were just like being thrown on the street, and they made them into like little planters. So they put like dirt in them and started planting trees. So he took like trash and made it into this like environmental friendly aspect. And he does like a lot of that, like with water bottles and different things. He takes all these like recycled materials and turns them into something that helps the environment. So if I go to another page, we'll go to this one because this one's cool. So this is the only special needs school that is like for miles that I believe. And you can kind of get a sense of what the buildings look like. And I'll show you what like one of the classroom looks like. Here's one of the doggies.
Do not catch.
So with photographs, sometimes if you take pictures, people will like hide their face because they don't want to be photographed. I was on a different project where I was told to just take them regardless. Normally, I wouldn't take a picture if someone didn't want to be photographed. Some of the streets. So here's that classroom that I was talking about. So really small. There was like 2 desks with some books. And then this is a pila where they wash clothes. And then they hang their clothes. And then I'll go to La Providencia, which is the cool bridge. So they built this bridge, and there's a cool backstory about how American people came in and said they could build this bridge, and then the people were like, that's not how you build it, it's gonna fall down. And they built it anyway, and then it fell down, and then the people built it back how they thought it should be built, and it's still there. So that's pretty cool. It's a super long bridge.
Scary.
It's a bit scary, but the people have to walk it every single day. There's no other way to get to their town. Classroom picture of girls using machetes. I just think that's so funny because we're like so scared to use so many things in schools now, and like they're just cutting up some fruit with machetes. The guys carrying the wood, you'll definitely see that, and we'll probably do that at the women's center, how they like stack it, how they carry it.
How to carry wood on our back.
Another street view, lots of greenery, lots of flowers you'll see. This is at a school gym class outside. So the kids are just playing, the teacher behind them. Another classroom. So the special needs school is a lot smaller. The normal schools and the classrooms are a lot bigger with lots more kids. And you'll see one of the schools will go to the Montessori school, right?
Yes.
And that was the teacher right there. There's that bridge. And the lady carrying the baby across the bridge. Lots of churches. Each of the community has a church. Yeah. More kid pictures. They had 10 kids at this house, and there was no adults home. But they were having a great time. Okay, this is a good one because this is the houses. So this is what the mission builds. And each year the mission has a different color. So I don't know what year pink is, but that's one of the years that means the house was built in that year. So they paint them different colors. I think blue was recent because there was a lot of blue, I think, last year. But this is kind of what it looks like. And these are some of like the projects that we work on where we're building a house. We lay like the foundation and then start like putting the wood and the windows, concrete, and all of that. There's a tuk-tuk. So everyone will get to ride in one of those. They're really fun to zip around in. I believe that's a school. And the people have to like walk a lot. Like some people are hiking from mountains just to get to like their house. I went to one house that was like in the mountains. Like we were nowhere near anything else. Yes, but a lot of the streets will look like that. Did you want me to go over any other towns?
Yeah, show a few more.
Okay. So each community has, what is it? Faith, do you remember what it's called? I forget what they call them, but it's basically like community leaders is how we would describe it. So these would be the community leaders for this area. So like if you have a township, your government official
Yeah, like a council.
in there. Yeah, so like these are those people that are in charge. And they kind of directed on what we were doing for this project. Like, okay, this is us. This is what we want you to look at. So there's the church. These little girls were picking up flower petals, I believe. I'm not sure for what, but they were just doing that. Everyone hangs their clothes outside on after they wash them in the pilas, and you'll get to see a pila and like how it's done. A lot of people wash them in the lake too, and there's pilas. They're still called pilas, the things that they're washing them on.
And rocks. Yeah.
Rocks, yeah. You'll see the people washing, the ladies washing on the rocks in the lake too. Lots of pretty plants. And there's another school. Kind of like what the houses look like. Lots of fresh fruit. And you'll also see a lot of ladies making tortillas like right out on the streets. It always smells really good. These are the dogs you don't want to touch. There you go, JC. The wild street dogs, they won't mess with you though, but don't touch them. Which one to click here? I always think this picture is so interesting because he's wearing a New York City shirt. Most likely he has not been to New York City, but I think a lot of our clothes end up like all our clothes that we're just like throwing away or whatever end up over there because you'll see a lot of shirts and some of it will be English and the kids don't speak any English. So it is interesting sometimes. There's some cats too. Here's a Pila and here's ladies washing their clothes in the Pila with the babies on their back. And I believe they do this every day. I feel like they're always washing clothes. Faith, you can jump in anytime too. So let's see. They were building this house here, and actually the kids that lived here were also helping build. I'm not sure. There was a picture of it, but it's kind of what the houses look like. Still being built, so this would be like a 3-bedroom house.
Which is rare.
Yeah. And this one's nicer too. It has like the flooring and the cinder block. But the rooms are still small, you can see, but this would be considered a nice house. See, there's the kids helping. I knew it was in here somewhere. Some of the communities you walk through and you can see the difference too. Some of them are much more poor, and some of them have bigger houses. Just depends on the community. She's pulling on electrical wire, so
Oh, gosh.
interesting.
And that's Father John,
Mm-hmm.
the one who was trying to get Holly married off.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I didn't meet him. Oops. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Perfect.
Well,
Yep.
so it's communitiesofsanlucas.com,
Yes.
and it still works.
It still works. It's still up. And there's your picture.
I actually use that for my like portraits at times.
Nice. And that's Julie who like helped with the project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, how do I get out of here? Hold on. Shop. There we go.
Stop. Yeah. Great. Thanks so much, Ange. I mean, you do wonderful work, and so what I normally do is have a Google Photos site that we can all upload our photos to, so that way it's easy to share. Sharon, I think you uploaded a bunch last year, Ange also. So, anybody have any questions? Let me just Texas. No. Nope, not that.
And one time when I was living there, I saw in a span of like 3 weeks, two kids with an Eagles jersey on and one kid with a Penn State sweatshirt, and I was like, I'm basically home. Crazy.
That's so funny. It is interesting. I do see a lot of English clothes over there.
So we just finished meeting 4. Oh, I forgot to, I've been meaning to show these Catholic social teaching videos, but in any event, at the end of this syllabus, I have the 7 Catholic social teachings. And then I'm going to put 2 of you, your names next to each one. So, for instance, Ange and Faith might, just for example, might do human dignity. And so you could watch the video ahead of time, refresh your brain about what the Catholic social teaching of human dignity is about. And these videos are nice. They're about 3 minutes long, but they also have questions. So if you're sharp, you might even remember some of the questions because you have to lead the discussion. So just don't tell anybody who's not on the call today. Like, don't tell Holly. So next week is just really short videos. And a lot of it is about our North American values, our North American attitudes, and comparing and contrasting with what we'll meet. And we got into a little bit of that today. And not imposing our outside culture on people. We see things that we would do differently. Well, they're doing it. And then Bonnie, Father Greg explains his mission. Father Greg explains human rights, integral human development in San Lucas. Father Greg talks about food, and Father Greg talks about reasons to visit. So just very short videos that I posted. And then we'll also do, what did you ask me to do today? Like, was it health or something? I forgot the topic that I couldn't find the slideshow for, but more practical stuff. So we're going to do that in the next week. Then the week after that, social justice issues that you will witness. So hunger and maternal health. We'll learn about climate change. We'll see migration and refugees and poverty. And so we're going to keep our eyes open. And Ray Ward and his Villanova students are going to go to DC to Congress. And so anybody who would like to go with me and Ray to Congress, we will get to speak to our representatives in Congress. And that's so cool. Faith and Ange, did I take you, or were you during COVID? I forgot.
I've gone.
You've gone. And how about Faith?
Yeah, I've gone a couple of times.
A couple times, yeah. Is it cool?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that enthusiastic.
I think it's cool now. Do I think it's cool? I don't know now. It was cool before.
Well, it's funny today. So a group that I belong to, Network Catholic Social Justice Lobby, our District 5 with Scanlon, I picked out someone to be the leader, and she's retired, and she was, very shy about wanting to do it, and I talked her into it. So she's going to lead our District 5 group to meet with Representative Scanlon in Chester. Not as nice as going to DC, but went to Chester.
I think it's cool because a lot of times when we go, like people are always like, I didn't know you could just come and like talk
Yeah.
to the people. Like you really learn like you have all the power.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think people
I
realize that.
don't know that we have all the power, but we do have the power still
Well,
to speak.
you have the power, you can just sign it away. You might have given it up, but
Okay. Great. Well, thanks everybody. Wonderful to see you guys each week. I look forward to it. And
Jay-Z, I have to say, your house is decorated so nicely.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, what?
this is my study.
It's very nice.
These are all things that Sue bought for me as gifts. This Chris bought, this is from Venice, and it's a kind of like a Mardi Gras mask with 2 faces, a happy one and a scary one. Yeah, so
Oh, it's like that Oscar Wilde statue.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's all stuff that Sue gave to me at different
I love that.
Christmas things. Yeah. Okay. Nice seeing everybody. See you next week. Have a
See
good
you.
week.
Bye.
Stay warm.
Thank
Stay,
you. Have a good week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
stay healthy. And Connie, tell Ange thank you.
I will. She did a
Okay.
good job.
Okay. Great.
She's modest, though. She doesn't really like put it out there how much she really did.
And I voted twice for her, each of those two categories.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Hope she wins. She was way ahead in one, but not ahead in the other,
Okay.
the adult one.
I love your wall color too. It's so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Did you pick it?
No, we bought this about during COVID and was too lazy to paint.
So nice. I like it.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.